The potato cake, one of my classic dishes. I mean, it almost looks fake, right? Alex Guarnaschelli here. One of my favorite things on the planet is potatoes, and they come in so many different forms. The classic russet, near and dear to my heart. I love it. Makes that iconic fast food French fry that we all know and love. This is your everyday workhorse potato that can literally be good pretty much anywhere, and such a great taste, the skin especially. A classic sweet potato. Potatoes, like cabbage and other things, should feel heavy in your hand and not dried out. Classic blue potato, so beautiful. Not only are potatoes delicious, they're just beautiful. I mean, look at this, the cross section of these potatoes. So another variety that you'll see a lot at the supermarket, and this is actually the fingerling. They're almost moister, they're a little waxier. They have almost a more distinctive potato flavor. This is a red bliss or a new potato. These are the classic potato salad potatoes. These can kind of go anywhere, but they're like the kind of the green springy vegetable of the potato world. And then you have these, which are actually sweet potatoes, these smaller, almost fingerling or baby sweet potatoes. There's more skin to flesh ratio, right? And these are a little bit darker colored. To me, a sign of antioxidants. They're so delicious. You can hear that starchiness and just sort of unusual and stunning visually. I love this, for example, with some barbecue ribs or even just a big plate of steamed broccoli. But for my potato cake that I'm gonna be making, I'm using the classic russet. And we're just gonna see how versatile and delicious this potato is. All right, so the fun part, one of my classic dishes, super easy, just a few ingredients, potatoes. These are, again, those classic Idaho russets that I love so much for this. Peel them, and then we just adjust that mandolin slicer, and of course, use the safety guard. You're just gonna take your potato, and with not a lot of pressure, you're just gonna gently slice. If you do it with a knife and you try to cut them all, they're likely gonna be pretty uneven. And you'll see right away when you cut them, they're pretty thin, right? They should be a little bendy and flexible. So here I have 6 potatoes, medium size, that I've already cut up, and about 2 sticks of butter that I have in a pot just kind of melted and warm on the stove. A little bit of that butter right in the pan where we're gonna build the potato cake, and then the rest of it right over it. Yeah, just stir them a little bit to coat them with that butter. I did not, as you notice, slice these and put them in water. A lot of recipes, you slice the potatoes and you rinse them to get rid of some of that starch and lighten them up. Here we want all that starch trapped inside, so when we build our cake, the starch makes these potato slices stick together and build a delicious cake. A little bit of salt, that's gonna draw the water out, which also helps this potato cake come together. I move the butter around a little bit. That's the butter I put in the bottom of the pan. And I just pick up a bunch of these like stack of playing cards and I start to build. The bottom, when you flip it out, is gonna be the top. So you want the bottom layer to be, you know, pretty fancy pants. You can either start clockwise or counterclockwise, but as I build the layers, I build them in the opposite direction. So you can see there's my first layer. And then we just keep building. So I went clockwise. Now I'm gonna build my second layer counterclockwise. Same idea as the first layer, but I'm going in the opposite direction and I build from the outside. And I go back to clockwise, and by building it this opposite way, each layer, the thought is that you're building a sturdier building with a better foundation. So when you unmold it, it looks ICAG good. After a few layers, get another little pinch of salt right in the center there. You take the bottom of a large kitchen spoon and just flatten them, or you can even press down on all these layers. See, I'm about halfway there, and you just keep going. And this goes with anything. You say, oh, Alex, what can I serve this with? You could serve this with nothing. You could serve it with an omelet, poached shrimp, a steak, pork chops, an ice cream sundae. It just doesn't matter what you serve this with. People are gonna love it. Remember that when you build this and you start cooking it, water's gonna come out of the potatoes and they're gonna shrink. So you wanna kind of build this bigger than you want it to be once it's cooked. So once you have all the potatoes layered in there, you wanna just press a little bit, and then all that starch and butter and everything that's in the bowl, all of that in there. And then we get it going on a nice high heat. We want to get everything kind of hot and bubbling and browning. Okay, so you can see now, after a few minutes of cooking, medium-high heat on the stove, you can hear the sizzle of the actual browning potatoes. You can smell it. A lot of that water has evaporated, and the edges have these telltale brown. You see that bubbling, that it feels like just the butter is left. So all the water's escaped. Okay, so I'm gonna cook this in the oven until tender in the center, completely yielding when pierced with the tip of a knife. That can take anywhere from 25 to 40 minutes, but halfway through, I'm gonna turn it out onto a baking sheet and finish cooking it that way in the oven till tender. Okay, I cannot contain my excitement when I see one of these potato cakes. Came out of the pan, unmolded. I always salt the exterior a little bit once it's cooked because that bottom's been sitting in that wet butter and it needs that little pinch of seasoning. And slice it right like a pie. There is all our work. Still holds its shape. You can see all those layers. One way that I love to put this together is a little creme fraiche, a little salmon roe, salty, umami, little burst right on top here. Let's get crazy. Chives, so good. Look at that. I mean, it almost looks fake, right? But no, we made this. In fact, I'm gonna leave this one. It's so pretty. I'll eat the one right off my board. So few ingredients, so much flavor. This is just a knockout. If you learn how to make this, you should come on Alex vs. America and you will beat me at my own game. That's how good this is.